Tribe? So President Barack Obama recently stated that Black men are coming up with all kind of reasons and excuses to not vote for Kamala Harris, and he, quote, has a problem with that. Whew, my goodness. He is just the latest Black man in a litany of Black men who have come out and publicly condemned other Black men for not supporting Kamala Harris in the way that I guess we are supposed to. People in this group include Lil Scrappy, the rapper Plies, the rapper Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, DL Hughley, and one might assume, I'm no conspiracy theorist, well, I'm lying, I can be sometimes, but one might assume that they are maybe being paid by the Democratic Party, not President Obama though, because he doesn't need to be paid by the Democratic Party. That's his tribe, that's his people that he was once the leader of. Now, the issue that I am having with this is there seems to be a total disregard for the experiences of Black men. People aren't asking the why. Why would a Black man be more enamored with Donald Trump? Why would a Black man rather sit on the couch and not vote? Or why would a Black man want to vote for a third-party candidate? People aren't asking the how. How did we get to this point? People are just seeing how Black men are moving and immediately chastising us as if we were fourth graders. As all of this is unfolding, it made me think about the time in 2016 when Bill Cosby was being brought up on charges of sexual assaults. I'm going to be honest with you all. I felt as though it were a conspiracy at the time, and I did not mince my words. I did not bite my tongue. When this conversation would come up, I would say how I felt about it, right? Follow me now, follow me. I'm going somewhere, please follow me. Literally follow me, subscribe. But at any rate, my men, you know, the brothers would be like, yeah, bro, he was about to buy NBC, and man, the timing of this is crazy, right? The sisters would not feel that way. Their response would either be to shut down when I would bring this up, veer the conversation in another direction, or push back hard, right? And it was interesting. I looked at it like, you know, all the specifics of the case seemed peculiar. I would bring up in 2005, he made the now notorious, what was dubbed the pound cake speech, when he was at, I want to say, the 50th anniversary of the NAACP. And he spoke about, you know, from his perspective, he was preaching accountability to single Black mothers, and said that, we're raising kids in our community that will still, they get hemmed up by the police for stealing a pound cake and stealing Coca-Cola and things like this, and they know they're supposed to pay for it, and you want to get mad, you want to cry when he was, when the police shoot him and all this type of stuff. But why was he there in the first place? He was saying things, talking about the names that Black women are choosing to, single mothers he's talking about, the names that people are choosing to name their kids Shaniqua, etc. And he was going off. He was talking about black boys and how he said our black boys don't even speak English. I can't even understand what they're saying. He was talking about children being born out of wedlock and the horrible state of the black family. And he was talking about boys, sagging their pants and all. Okay, so that speech. And he gave that in 2005. And I remember at that particular time, I said, wow, that I didn't know that Dr. Huxtable felt that way. Where is this coming from? I was really young at the time, but I was like, where's this coming from? But I also remember feeling as though this is not a new voice. This voice was not inconsistent with any old man at any barbershop that I had ever been to. When it's crowded, there's always an old brother in the corner talking about, yo, it's y'all, man, just so disrespectful these days. Y'all just shoot everybody, man. Don't nobody fight. Everybody got a gun. I didn't like to hear it, but it wasn't, the voice wasn't shocking. The sentiments weren't shocking. It was just shocking to me that it was coming from him because I did not know that he was on that hype. But back to my point, I can recall at that time, the media turned against him. And I want to say the black media, but there really is no black media, but the black writers, that wrote for the white publications, I remember they turned on him in a major way, and they had a serious problem with that. I just remember he was being castigated left and right for making those statements, and there was no nuance. It was like, okay, we hate you now. Fast forward to 2015. And I recently discovered an article from that time in 2015 that was in the LA Times. There was a judge, and I want to read a quote for you. There was a judge that used that speech to unseal some documents. The quote says, on Monday, Judge Eduardo C. Robrino went a step further. He argued that by taking a stance as a public moralist, evidence he supported with a link into the Wikipedia entry for the pound cake speech, Cosby had voluntarily narrowed the zone of privacy that he is entitled to claim against the objections of Cosby's legal team, who had claimed that Cosby was not legally speaking a public figure. Robrino granted the Associated Press motion to obtain documents related to the 2005 civil lawsuit against Cosby. So what I would bring up in these conversations is that this is the equivalent of your dad giving you a spanking in front of the whole class. Of your dad coming into school and saying, oh, you want to show off? You want to act out? No, drop him. No, I'm going to spank you. No, this is who you want to show out in front of, huh? No. You going to learn. This judge said, oh, you want to be a public moralist? Oh, I'm going to show you. I'm going to unseal this and I'm going to give it to the media. All of these things, in addition to Hannibal Buress, a comedian who I'd never heard of, coming out around that time, 2015, I want to say 2016 maybe, coming out and saying, oh, Bill Cosby was talking that stuff back in the day about pull your pants up. Look at all your accusations, but maybe you need to pull your pants up. And it wasn't even like an HBO special. It wasn't even some kind of stand-up comedy that was filmed by an actual film crew. He was such an underground comedian that somebody at the time filmed it on an old bootleg phone. And this thing went viral before the word viral was even used, right? So that kind of put the public spotlight back on Cosby. So They went after him after that, and he was brought on charges. Okay, so when I would bring these things up once again to sisters, there would be a totally different response. And so I couldn't quite articulate it until I couldn't quite just understand exactly what was happening. I mean, I'm telling you, I was quite oblivious, man. I was quite oblivious. Until I saw a meme that said, your support for Bill Cosby is the reason why when females in your family get assaulted by a man, they don't tell you. And I said, whoa, okay, I get it. And that shaped the way that I felt about the case moving forward, the way that I spoke about it, and the understanding that I had of it, because now it's like I understand it from a different perspective. Me asking women, like as a Black woman, yo, can't you see this is shady, da da da. And if she was a survivor of sexual assault or molestation, like a lot of Black women are, and unfortunately, at the hands of a Black man, right? If she's carrying this trauma with her, and then I'm saying, hey, they're doing Dr. Cosby dirty, then that is like them aligning, that is literally them aligning themselves with their tormentor, even though it wasn't Bill Cosby specifically that did it, but it's still something that that they carry around with them every day, and it's very, it can be overwhelming at times, right? And I'm a man, and I haven't experienced, that hasn't been my experience. And I was like, wow, I've been incredibly insensitive. And so it altered things for me. It shifted things for me. When Bill Cosby was the first case, he beat it. It was a hung jury, and I did not applaud. He was convicted. I didn't applaud either. He was later released. I didn't applaud either. I said, okay, I was just following it. I was almost indifferent, right? Because I care how Black women feel. Because I would never want to say something that made Black women feel unsafe around me. That I would never want to do anything that would make the Black women in my life feel like they could not tell me anything. I did not want to be that person. Because I love Black women, that's extremely important to me. I play a vital role in the lives of Black women. Black women play a vital role in my life as well. We need this symbiotic relationship, okay? We need to understand one another. My question is, why is that understanding not reciprocated when it comes to Black men? A lot of brothers, myself included, are having an extremely hard time lending our support for a person that used to be a prosecutor. For a person that rose through the ranks from local government to state government to national government as a person who throws people in jail. As a person who has to know that this system is unjust and unjustifiably racist, that Black men are the most prosecuted demographic in the history of this country. There's no way that Vice President Harris does not know that. And for her to see that and say, I want to do that. I want to be the prosecutor. I'm having a difficult time getting behind that. Okay? She could have been a civil rights attorney. She could have been a defense attorney. She could have been a public defender. But she wanted to be a prosecutor. Not only that, my goodness, she excelled at being a prosecutor. For those of you all who have never been inside of a courtroom, the prosecutor is the person that tries to prove without a shadow of a doubt. They have the burden of proof to prove that you are a criminal, that you did what the state said that you did. And it doesn't matter what type of person you are, what type of heart you have, how you like to do good deeds for your family, how you volunteer at a convalescent home, how you defend women, how you, it doesn't matter. You take care of your child. Their job is to prove every person that comes into their courtroom is to prove that person did it, that person did it, that person did it, that person did it. And you rise through the ranks by getting as many convictions as possible. You're demanding of us that we vote for that person, that we support her because she is Black. As Lil Scrappy says, she Black, so what? Nothing else matters. Okay, Scrap, that's you. But for me, this really matters. She falsely convicted a man named Jamal Truelove. I don't know her side of the story, but I know that he's done a couple interviews, and he has stated that while she was the DA of San Francisco, she falsely convicted him of murdering his friend. His sentence was later overturned by the person that came into her office after her. And he was awarded a lot of money by the city. He should have never been convicted. And he was like on a reality show. And so he had a lot of, he was a popular person. And he said that she was laughing at him while she convicted him, while she was falsely convicting him. What I'm saying is that I don't know her side of the story. I mean, there's got to be more to it. But for me, if I wanted to get in the graces of Black men, if I wanted to show that I support Black men and I love Black men, then I would address it. If I were running, I would address that. Maybe I would send an open letter to him. I would make sure that people didn't think that I was okay with laughing at a man that was being falsely convicted. You all, she gave my uncle a life sentence while she was the DA of San Francisco as well. His sentence was later commuted by the person that came after her. He is now a proud grandfather. He's a good father. He works hard. He has stayed away from police, stayed away from being prosecuted. He is a good, righteous human being. Jamal Truelove, also, he's been in movies. I think he's got a production company. He's done a lot of righteous things. He's a hardworking, upstanding person. I don't know him personally, but from what I see, he's doing his thing. He's moving forward. When she was the DA of Alameda County, she prosecuted a good friend of mine who I grew up with. And it was his first time, his first time ever being charged with a crime. And she threw the book at him. She put him in jail. It was a drug case too. She put him in jail. And he was like, dang, no warning, no nothing. I'm trying to, I made a mistake. She threw him in Santa Rita jail, and he had to do his time. Fast forward, he is now a very successful business owner. I hope he doesn't mind me telling his story. He's a very successful business owner. He works in the community. He's an upstanding person, right? He is a good dude that cares about the health and well-being of our community. Okay. And he works every day, workaholic, doing his thing. Why couldn't Vice President Harris, at that time, DA Harris, why couldn't she see the good in these men? 2 out of 3 of them, I know personally. I know that they're great people, and what they were charged with was out of character for them. Why could she not see that? Either of these people say, oh my God, she prosecuted me with such compassion. I'm so glad that it was a Black woman. Oh my God, her being a sister it was shining through as she was prosecuting me. My God, I got so lucky. None of them have stated this. She was just a cog in the machine. She was not letting people off. She did not approach her job with revolutionary zeal. She was doing the same thing that any person of any other race would have done. Yet you want me to just throw my support behind her. And I'm telling you that I cannot do that. I can't bring myself to do that. I don't know what it would take between now and November for that to happen, but it hasn't happened yet. And I have the right to feel that way. President Obama, on the other hand, feels otherwise. In an article by NPR, he went on to say, or the article says, he chided voters who were voting for Trump or not casting a vote at all. And you were thinking about sitting out, he said. Part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president, and you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. Obama said, women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time. When we get in trouble and the system isn't working for us, they're the ones out there marching and protesting. She is the system. Do you understand? This is absurd. Kamala Harris is the system. She is the person that is unfairly prosecuting us. She's giving us lengthy prison sentences. She's the reason why that father thought he was going to be home for Christmas, and you don't see him until 3 years later. That's what she did for a living. And what? So you want us to disregard our trauma and act like that did not happen to fit into this idea of what you think that we should be doing. We hurt. We have trauma that we don't even speak about. We have experiences buried deep in our souls that we don't want to talk about. But yet you support this prosecutor and you wonder why. We bottle all that emotion up inside and we resort to alcohol, we resort to weed, and we resort to pills. You wonder how a Black man can kill another Black man in broad daylight while that Black man is in front of his child and not care. You wonder how a Black man can leave a woman alone to raise his children by herself and not care. You wonder how a Black man can be so devoid of pride that he could pitch a tent and move into a homeless encampment that's in the same neighborhood that he grew up in and seemingly not care, because you have proven time and time again that you don't care about him. You don't care how he feels. You don't care what he has been through. We're telling you, hey, we don't feel comfortable voting for this woman. We don't feel, and you hire other Black men to say, nigga, shut up. Do what you're told. Man, I'll tell you the truth, man. I'll tell you the truth. Listen. I want to speak directly to Black men. I want to speak directly to Black men. If you stay home, that's fine. If you vote for anyone else, that's fine. Third party candidate, we got a Black man. We got a Black man running. My brother Cornel West is running. If you want to vote for him, that's fine. If you want to vote for Trump, that's fine. If you want to vote for Kamala Harris, that's fine as well. You have that right. Don't let anyone get you off of your square. I love us, man. I love us. I love Black women. I love Black children. I love Black babies. I just think that we as a community are not going to move into a higher ground until we are willing to openly affirm the humanity of Black men. And that will not start with the election of Kamala Harris. That has got to start with us. So listen, if you disagree, it's all good. Drop a comment. Go ahead and like this. Please share this. And of course, subscribe to the tribe. Peace, tribe. And another one.